welcome back. It is another weekly vlog. This week is Space Week, and for those of you that are new here, my name is Kristen Langford. I am a pre-K teacher in Florida. It is already Wednesday, so I did not record Monday and Tuesday. I need to just like get the camera out, but usually I'm like, oh, I have all week, and then I procrastinate, and that's just my personality. So here we are. We are about to do cooking, and we are making grilled cheese. So this one is more of a teacher made, and they're just gonna taste it. So I already got the supplies out here on the table. I brought my griddle, and we will just talk about the ingredients, do their little cookbook. I'm gonna get that set up in a minute, and then they'll watch me make one, which I think they're gonna think's cool because the, you know, the butter sizzles and stuff like that. And then we have, Space Week is super cool. Last year I feel like Space Week wasn't that great because we didn't have a lot of resources, but we have a lot of cool things, and the kids are loving Space Week. So I'm gonna show you some of the things we did, and then I'm gonna get this food ready. Okay, so I have some things out over here already, but the first thing we did was at art is we made these balloon planets, and this is all Miss Sam. But over here, we gotta clean these out. We forgot to do it yesterday, so they got a little dried out. But you just blow up a little balloon and you mix like 2 colors, and they push it down, and then they push it onto, this is our example, so hopefully push it on, and it would make whatever color you need. This one has like just a little bit of purple on the edge. Obviously, when it first starts out, they have way more cool colors. So that is the art project for the past 2 days. We're actually gonna do a different art project for the rest of the week because we are also learning about Black History Month. So later in the video, I'll show you those projects because I haven't done them yet. Then over here, we have our Play-Doh for planets and space. We just gave them red because it was already out from Valentine's. We made these foil meteors. They have circles for planets, stars. These are super fun, you know, the little star confetti. Then we have these little tiny aliens that they're adding on, and then these crystals. And here is what we have for our sensory bin for space. We put the beads in there, we put more of the gems, we put yarn, super fun. And then we have these, I think they're supposed to be like on necklaces. You see that? It's a little blurry, but they're planets. Look how cool. And then we also added in little matching, so there's 2 of these, 2 stars, 2 Venus. Here's the match for star. So they just have to find the matches of the different planets, and then we threw this in for the sun. Isn't it so fun? We also have these. They're glow in the dark, but they're not really having an opportunity to see that glow in the dark because they're not really getting any sunlight, but still a cool sensory bin item. We also did G for gumball machine. This one's super easy, but always adorable. And then while I already have this out, this is how we set up our cooking day. Just took a screenshot of the cookbook digital file and put it in here so we can draw right on it on the smartboard. But some of the space stuff I want to show you. The first thing is like the brain breaks. I'm making everything space, so these space chases are really fun. This one was really cool because it's an astronaut in space reading the story. There we go. So it's if I were an astronaut, and she is in outer space, so she's like floating all over the place. The kids loved it. Then our other brain break was Space Chase Alliance. And then for math, I use like aliens to go over more and less. And then we go into our like math groups. So that's kind of like the whole group, get your brain ready math talk. And then our first story, this is from Mayan, Exploring Space. It just talked about different things in space, and we talked about new things that we learned. Another story, there was a black hole that swallowed the universe. It was a little long, I wouldn't really recommend it, but I just feel like there's so much space stuff out there. Now, these slides are for today. And we did not get to do this one, but we're going to. We were doing class pictures today. So planets freeze dance, so fun. Then they're gonna count how many Earths and how many astronauts, and then compare the number. And I just make this on the slide. Like I literally just find clip art, add it in there, and then that's how we do our math problem. Our read aloud is gonna be Peppa in Space today, right before we go take a nap. And then we have Jurassic Space and a planet book. Hello, welcome back. It's already Friday. Got a little wonky this week and was not able to record, but that's okay. It's kind of like the trend in pre-K. You never know what to expect, it feels like. Anyways, I kind of gave you guys a ton of things already for Space Week that we have going on. I just want to wrap up the video today by telling you about our small group activities we had, as well as our fine motor. I already started switching out the fine motor for next week's theme, but I can show you my slide and explain the ideas that I came up with, I am loving the fine motor time, and the kids are too. They think it's super fun. It's something new. It's still playing, but it's kind of art as well, and it's just working out very, very well. Okay, 2 small groups. For math small groups, you know, last week I told you that like our math curriculum is becoming just repetitive. It's like the same skills over and over. So some of those kids, like in small group, they still need those skills. But as far as like whole group, I felt like I'm just trying to review the things that we actually need and kind of build upon the things that we might not have touched on that I know they're gonna hit in kindergarten. So last week we did word problems. This week we worked on more and less, which I showed you on the slides. So for small group though, I'm kind of taking a step back because the thing that I feel like they need the most is handwriting. We learned our numbers in the beginning of the year, the handwriting and all that, but at that time a lot of them were not ready. Now they're ready, and we just got our Learning Without Tears curriculum, so it's like perfect timing. So for numbers, most of the groups were doing numbers 1 and 2. Obviously they know how to recognize these numbers, they know how to count to these numbers, but still writing the numbers is kind of a learning curve, right? So we did some coloring on the caterpillar. It's so cute because it has little stripes and it looks like the number 1. And then on the chicks, we talked about how they each have 2 feet. We built the number with the little blocks. We also used our chalk, which is a really cool strategy. So you have a slate board and I write the number 2, and then they use a wet sponge to erase it, and then they dry it, and then they use a chalk to make it again. So they really like that one. I think that's so cool. All right, so that was my group. Then for Miss Sam's group, it was a review. We have these from Kindergarten Connection, and they are just little space astronauts with a number. And then they have little, oh, there we go, space shuttles with dots. So she would go around, they had to find the match, count the dots, find the number to match. And then obviously that went pretty fast. We're really working on the handwriting, so she would get whiteboards out and they would practice writing the number. And still to go with writing those numbers, this is from also Kindergarten Connection, I believe. I'll link this stuff down below if I find the links. It is a count the room, kind of like the Valentine's one last week, but it's space edition. Same thing, we didn't really count the room, but we went through and counts how many and then wrote the numbers on here. So still practicing that number writing, you know? Okay, and then for literacy, you know that I meet with every group twice a week. So what I had been doing was using the Science of Reading resource from the beginning of the year that I kind of went over with you guys. And I was like kind of stretching that out between 2 days. Well, they're starting to understand the routine of that, so I don't really need 2 days for that. So depending on which group I have is what I do. Handwriting, once again, it's like, it's not gonna go with the letter of the week, but it's kind of like a review, which is good as well. And it goes on what order they need to learn for making the strokes. So the first letter was letter L because it's a straight line and a straight line. So that's what we did. We practiced a cross first with a crayon, super simple. And then we did a lot of talking about the letter L. We asked what started with letter L, just reviewing it. Obviously we got to lizard. We talked about lizards. What do you know about lizards? They're green. They live in, or they can climb trees, or they're found in the grass, like things like that. They have a tongue that they eat bugs with. And then we practiced coloring and really practicing that stroke back and forth. And then when we get closer to the smaller, going a little slower. So I added a little tongue on there. And then of course they did get to trace the L as well as build the L and do the slate of the L. So I'm going to do this from now on for my first day that I meet with them. It's just a review of a letter, not the letter of the week, just whatever comes next and what's good for their handwriting. And then the second time they come to me, I will do the Science of Reading book for the letter of the week. We talk about what the letter is, what sound it makes, something that starts with that, and then obviously I have a sort of if it begins with G or doesn't begin with G, or sometimes I might have a phonics type thing with like rhyming or word blending or compound words, things like that. So that's the plan. I like to change things up. Then for Miss Sam's group, same thing. She did the gumballs that I showed you earlier in the video, and she also did name rockets, which before I get off, I'll show you our art masterpieces. They're hung up over there. For for Miss Whitney's group, she did the cutting and gluing of the letter sort for letter G for this week. And then the second time around, she'll work on a fine motor book of something. I think that's it. Okay, so I wanna show you the fine motor activities that we did in small group. The only one that I have a copy of still, just because the student was absent this week, is the poking one. So we just took a simple black sheet of paper, wrote their name in white crayon, and then we have these, they're like nails is what they're supposed to be, but you could use golf pins, I think they're called. I don't know, I don't golf. And they went on the rug and they pushed down and they just poked holes all through the letters. So it's really cool, but it's Space Week, so then after you poke all the holes, you can look at the light through it and it looks like a starry night with your name. So they loved this. Obviously some friends who had very long names, it took a little longer, but it was an easy idea. Other idea that I don't have a copy of, but it's very easy to do, is I gave them star stickers and a sheet of paper, and they just put the stickers all over the paper, which fine motor, peeling those stickers off, you'd be surprised, is actually very tricky for them. They put it all over the paper, and then they took a crayon and they like connected the stars to make like a constellation. I'll check the binders and see if anybody didn't take it out of their binder yet, so I can show you that. And then the last one was number rockets. So it's actually from Pocket of Preschool's fine motor book. She just has like numbers on a paper, and I just printed it on colored paper, and then they had to cut all the numbers out and they put the numbers in order 1 to 10. Then they added like flames at the bottom and it was a rocket. So they were cutting and gluing and also doing academics to put the numbers in order. I had an example on the table too for those that don't really have the numbers in order yet. And that was that. So they love it. They get to pick as well. Like they have to do all of them anyways throughout the week because we do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but they get to choose which one they want to do. And then on the last day, it's like, okay, go to the one you haven't done yet. So I think they feel like that's kind of cool too because they get to pick what they want to do first, even though they have to do all of them. Okay, let me show you the masterpiece wall. I'll also check the binder and see if anybody left any other crafts in there. All right, it's kind of dark, but here's some of those planets that we showed you from art during the week. And then these are the number rocket, I mean not the number rockets, these are the name rockets, some of the kids that got to do it so far. So cute and so easy. Okay, I checked the binders. Everybody cleaned out their binders, so yay parents. Fortunately, I can't show it to you, but it's pretty self-explanatory. But that is it for this week. We had Jack Hartman here at our school for a concert yesterday. It was a ton of fun and the kids were starstruck, you know? So our schedule's been a little off this week and that's just the way teaching goes, you know? You try to keep your schedule as set as possible, but they gotta realize that things change and sometimes that makes the classroom a little crazier. I also have 2 new students over the past couple of weeks. I don't think I've really talked about that yet. So that also throws a little bit of a curveball to figure out what works for those students, what doesn't work for those students. Yeah, so we're at 16 kids now, 10 that are VPK, and 6 that are students with an IEP. That's it. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button and that notification bell, and I will see you very soon. Bye.